All right. So I just want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. We're just going to take some time to review some things that we should be doing leading up to Wreath Day tonight. So it's going to be kind of short and sweet. And I'm sorry, my PowerPoint is not wanting to cooperate. All right. All right, so first, all locations and groups need to reinstate yearly. You should have already received an email with the updated policies for group leaders and location coordinators. You must sign those policies before your regional liaison will be able to reinstate your group or location. If you aren't sure if you have signed or if you are reinstated for this year, you just want to reach out to your regional liaison to confirm. They are sending emails regularly to you as reminders. So if you have missed something, you're probably going to get continue to be harassed by us until we get all your stuff set up. So now is also a great time of year to start fundraising. Most of our groups collect sponsorships year round, but if you haven't started yet with Memorial Day quickly approaching, it's a great time to kick off your fundraising efforts for this year. For those of you who are location coordinators, now is also a good time to start planning ahead for Wreath Lane. Start creating. Can one of y'all the mute there? Go ahead and start creating your support team, ensuring your shipping information is correct and making arrangements for how you would handle your wreath disposal. So first, let's talk about links for your pages. One thing I want to say is when the new website goes live, the links will not change. So just keep sharing your links for your pages. They're going to stay the same. There's not going to be any downtime with those going back and forth. Now, there are 3 types of pages that you may be using. There's your location page, your group page, your member page. The location page is the page for the cemetery, and any wreath sponsored on that page would not be credited to a group, but for that location only. A group page is the page specifically for your sponsorship group. Your group would receive credit for any orders placed on your group page. From your group page, the sponsor can choose to support your location or locations, or they can choose to support a different location. In that case, while your location would not receive those wreaths, your group would still be able to get credit for it. And that's a really great tool if you have someone who they may have a loved one who's buried somewhere that's not local to where you're supporting. And that way your group still gets to receive either that 3 for 2 wreath or the $5 back if you're doing the fundraising option. And that person can still honor their loved one. Last but not least is the member pages. The member pages are created underneath a group, and the wreath sponsor on that page will roll up to that group and whatever locations that group supports. Member pages are a great way to allow different team members to customize their own page, and they can use them to kind of gauge what the team members are doing. And we see a lot of like CAP squadrons that will use these as a competition among cadets to see who can raise the most, and the person who has the most wins the prize. Each of these types of pages have their own direct link. The direct link to your group and location page is simply wreathsacrossamerica.org and then / your location or your group ID. When you are directing donors to sponsor wreaths online, you should always direct them to your direct link for your page. If you would like donors to support a group, make sure that you're always directing those donors to that direct link for that group page instead of the link for your location page. Another way to submit sponsorships is by mailing them in. If you receive any cash donations, convert it into a check or money order and make it out to Wreaths Across America. For individual donations mailed in, attach a sponsorship order form to their check. If you're mailing in multiple checks in the same envelope, instead of using the sponsorship form, which you see on the left here, we recommend using the tally sheet, which is on the right. If the donor would like to remain anonymous, just make sure you indicate that on the form. It's very important that you make sure that the group ID and location ID are listed on the form so that we know which group should receive credit for the order and which location the wreath should be delivered to. The mailing address for the cash and check orders is listed on the sponsorship order form in the top right-hand corner. Before you seal the envelope, you should always make a copy of everything that's inside. Once the orders are processed, they will show up on your wreath count report. This is where you can cross-reference your records with ours to make sure all the orders were received and entered correctly. If you notice any discrepancies, reach out to your regional liaison with a copy of what you mailed in and let them know the issue so that they can reach out to our finance office and get it corrected for you. When you put the envelope in the mail, we recommend using certified mail so that you can track the delivery. Keep in mind, it can take a few weeks for the cash and check orders to fully process and show up in your wreath count report. So don't worry if you don't see the orders listed right away. This is especially true during busy season, which is why it's so important to not hold on to those checks for an extended period of time. The more frequently you send in the batches during the year, the less it builds up for the finance office to have to process during season. For location coordinators, having a team of volunteers, especially for those of you who have larger programs, it's crucial to have everything running smoothly. There are many ways that volunteers can help. You can involve them in the ceremony program, have one or two manage your Facebook page and local PR efforts for your event, have them count boxes as they're unloaded from the truck to ensure you receive the correct number of wreaths. They can pass out wreaths and give directions to attendees about how and where to place the wreaths. You can also designate a team of volunteers to oversee the grave specific request. And you can also invite them to help clean up and dispose of the wreaths on the designated date. Our mission is to remember, honor, teach, and bringing in your community in as volunteers is a part of carrying out that mission. It's also a great opportunity to get more groups involved, schools, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts. There's all kinds of groups out there, and the more you can bring on, the more support you're going to have for your location. As a location coordinator, one of the things you should be arranging now is getting your delivery addresses in order. There are 3 different types of addresses that we require. The first is your home mailing address. That's where we will send the flags that you will attach to your ceremonial wreaths. We will send the flags out in early November, so please make sure to keep your address updated with your regional liaison. This address is also where we will send any certificates or other small packages throughout the year. The second is your cemetery address. Most ceremonies will occur at the actual cemetery, so this address will be for both your ceremony and the actual cemetery. If your ceremony is being held elsewhere, the actual cemetery address would be the one listed, and just contact your regional liaison and we will help you customize your site to highlight where the ceremony is actually taking place. The third type of address we will need is the wreath receiving addresses. The wreaths will be delivered either by an 18-wheel truck or by UPS or FedEx. The shipping team determines how your wreaths are delivered to you based on the number of wreaths sponsored and where you're located. Since shipping happens so soon after the cutoff date, we need both addresses listed so that we can use whichever address makes the most sense logistically. It's very important that the address for the 18-wheeler is accessible for a large truck, and that the UPS FedEx address is accessible at all hours because there's no signature required, so they will just leave it if you're not there. If you are the location coordinator for multiple locations and you'd like to deliver all your wreaths to one location and then hand deliver it to the other locations, that's totally fine. Just make sure your receiving addresses match up where you would like your wreaths delivered. We will notify you once your wreaths have shipped and let you know how they will be arriving. If they're shipped UPS or FedEx, we will provide you with a tracking number. If they're shipped on an 18-wheel truck, your volunteer truck driver will contact you ahead of time to make arrangements for delivery. Notice can vary between a couple hours and a few days. So it's important you keep your phone with you during the week prior to Wreath Day so that you don't miss that call. The week leading up to National Wreaths Across America Day is very exciting, and we want you to be prepared and ready to accept your wreath delivery. Another great way to use volunteers is with accepting wreath deliveries. You can set up a calling tree so that you have volunteers lined up and ready to help unload the truck when it arrives. If you're a location coordinator, now is the time to start planning how you're going to clean up and dispose of your wreaths, as this is the responsibility of the location coordinator, not the cemetery. I know there are some locations that are very lucky and the cemetery handles it for them, but you want to make sure you always just confirm that with the cemetery if they want to handle that cleanup themselves or if that's something that you would be doing. There are many ways to dispose of your wreaths, but these are just a few that we recommend. You can contact the state conservation director to see if the wreaths could be used for fish habitats. You can contact local farmers to see if they could use them for feeding goats or other wildlife. You can have a wreath retirement ceremony, burning the wreaths and then recycling the rings afterwards. You can also contact your local waste disposal companies and ask for an in-kind donation or a discount on any dumpsters that would need to be used. Earlier this year, we also shared a blog post on how some of our location coordinators have been working with Bass Nation to recycle the wreaths for use in fish habitats. Bass Nation is made up of conservation volunteers who teach young people to fish with ethical values and competition and instill principles of conservation to use resources wisely and replenish them. For the last 2 years, retired veteran wreaths have been collected from one of our West Virginia locations and turned into the fish habitat in a local lake. The structure is pretty simple and it can be replicated pretty much anywhere. And it's just a great use to another way that we can use those wreaths. And one of our liaisons, I will ask them if they can drop that blog post in the chat box for you guys. And in there is actually a link where you can find a list of the state conservation directors for your area. And as always, if you have any questions or concerns about the disposal of your wreaths, please reach out to myself or any of your liaison for assistance. The supply section of the dashboard is where your group or location can purchase Wreaths Across America merchandise. In the supplies module of the dashboard, you have access to all the merchandise, but some of the items are available at cost or with bulk pricing discount. If you have a question about any merchandise or bulk pricing, you can reach out to your regional liaison and we'll connect you with the proper person for more information. While we are finalizing the launch of our new website, if you cannot access the shops through your dashboard, you can still do so by clicking on the shop button on the main website page. Now, I know you're all eagerly awaiting information on the new website, and we're really excited to be able to share that with you soon. However, in order to ensure that we have covered all our bases and are able to present you with a complete and user-friendly experience, we're going to take a little extra time to just make sure it's good to go. We will have the next update on a go live date for you guys and the location connection that will be coming out the end of April. So be sure to stay tuned. And as I promised, it's short and sweet. So now we're just going to open it up for any questions that you guys may have regarding what we've talked about, or just any general questions that you may have, about fundraising or what you may need to do for your ceremony.
Hey, Julie, this is George Andrews. I have a question about the mobile exhibit.
Mm-hmm.
I had to put in a request earlier in the year, but the request for New England, they were out west, but I put another one in and I haven't heard back from anybody yet as far as when they might be in the New England area. Do you have any idea of when that might be? Or
Julie,
yeah, I'm here.
Oh, Don, I was going to say, I was just going to get George. I was going to say, I'll have you reach out to Don, but it sounds like Don's there.
Yeah, I'm right here. George, if you've put in a request for New England, I might have already reached out to you. We will be in New England all of the month of July. Let me go ahead and look that up tomorrow morning and get back to you. What was your full name?
George Andes, A-N-D-E-S.
Okay, you'll hear from me tomorrow about your request, but we do have some dates coming up. A lot of the weekends are already full, but please know that we're doing really, really well any day of the week. Maybe not so much for big crowds, but we don't want big crowds right now anyway.
Right.
And we're doing really well with media. That's where the real value is with the mobile education exhibit right now is
Right.
in the media that you may be getting from hosting an event versus what you might have gotten pre-COVID. We really, really are getting a lot of awareness out of it, and I think it'll help you in your sponsorships going down the road.
Definitely. All right, Don, thank you very much.
I'm a little confused on the flags. You're going to send the ceremonial flags out for the wreaths for the ceremony. Do you also send out the flags for the grave sites? Or do we have to provide those?
We only provide flags for the ceremonial wreaths. Any flagging of the gravesites you wanted to do, you would be responsible for that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
I
good
noticed
evening. I have a
that-
question.
Oops.
Oops, so this is Enid. I'm from Civil Air Patrol, and this is going to be my first time dealing with this program. They did have it. We participated a year and a half ago, but I was fairly new. So I need a contact person, somebody who can walk me through the whole process.
What state are you in?
New York City.
Okay, so Rachel Worcester is going to be your regional liaison, and oh, sorry, I went the wrong direction. And you can see her contact information on that screen that I've got up now, and you can just reach out to her and she will get you taken care of.
And likewise as well, if you need any help, thank you, Julie. We have Long Island over here. So if you need any help, you could message me on Facebook or instant message me, Harry, over there. And I'll be more than happy to help you out as well.
And
Thank you.
I have a question too. On the forms previously, you had a little line that said, I wish or I do not wish to have my name listed as a donor. Are there any rules about what we need to make sure to cover ourselves? And that is at this time, because it's not on the new form.
I don't remember us having that on the form before, but no, I mean, we are covered. The only thing it would be is if they don't want to be listed, is it just would not be, we would show first name and last initial only, but we don't, sell any of the information. So nothing, it's all going to stay internal. So
So don't worry about it,
Yeah.
basically. Okay, great, thanks.
Hi, this is Carlos from Cypress Hills. This is just redirecting the question back to statement to offer to help to Enid, Civil Air Patrol. I'm the Cypress Hills National Cemetery location coordinator. I've been doing Cypress Hills for the last about 15 years or so. And it's on the border between Brooklyn and Queens. So you can certainly reach out to me and that's from Cypress Hills.
awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else got anything?
This is Patrick from Iowa.
Hi, Patrick.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. First of all, thank you all for the pin, for the 10-year pin.
Oh, yes. Thank you for 10 years.
It was 10 years because I was Friends of the Iowa Veterans Cemetery for 10 years. And then it was the 3 years I was Director of Veterans Affairs and built the Veterans Cemetery at that same time. So I want to appreciate that. And the other thing I wanted to bring up was the disposal. This is our second year that we've actually turned all of our almost 3,400 wreaths into mulch. The company grinds them and their grinder pulls the magnet out of them, pulls that wire out of them. So they all go into mulch.
Is that a specific company, like a local company you work with, or?
Just a local company, yes. It's actually the landfill, but they grind them and they grind pallets and everything. And they have a big magnet on there that pulls those nails and the wire out of it. So they grind them right up.
Awesome. Well, that's good tip.
question again about that disposal, that BASS organization that does the wreaths and they save that. Is that something they go as far as the East Coast and New York area, or are they, where are they based out of? And how does, I mean, how far do they travel to get to recycle those wreaths?
I think they are in pretty much every state. And did one of the liaisons, did you guys get that link?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's, I can jump into it. This is Amber. That's through Bass Nation. So it depends on if there is a local Bass Nation in your area. And, but if you reach out to your liaison, we can certainly connect you with there's a list of conservation groups and that will do it. And basically it's using it in lakes for fish habitats, that one specifically. But there might be other conservation efforts in your state that we could connect you with.
Okay, thank you. And another thing, when we have it, is the general, I mean, we just had an event at our cemetery, but of course, the director of the cemeteries limited the amount of group participation. We did Vietnam Veterans Recognition Day. And, but because of the COVID, we couldn't have just a couple of people. Is the intent, do you think this year? I mean, it's hard to predict what's the future going to bring with, I mean, the intent is to try to have as many people, but at a social distance, blah, 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 right? I guess.
Yeah, we'll kind of take it, as
Yeah,
it
we gotta
goes.
see month by month, see what happens there, right?
Yeah, I do know. I think most of the cemeteries that we have heard back, especially like some of the national cemeteries, what they're kind of saying is they're kind of keeping the same plans in place as last year, following any local county health guidelines. If your area is opened up, then your ceremony wreath placement would be more opened up. But yeah, I think right now kind of hope for the best, plan for, last year again. So.
Right. Okay. Well, we get to know, did you say one last question? Will we get to know I've always gotten to know our truck drivers, our 18-wheelers, guys. We always met them the day before or at an event or at a meet and greet type of thing. Do you think, aside from that phone call that we're going to get from that individual a week before, a few days before, we're not going to meet them or talk to them prior to that, right?
Not typically. Usually they're, kind of busy that time of year. But every company's a little different. It's going to depend on, where you're at, where they're coming through. It's really going to vary. But for the most part, it would be around the delivery.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question. Did I understand you to say that you have a recommended date for removing the wreaths and just?
So you want to talk to your cemetery, see what they want you to do.
Okay.
It's really different for every area. At Arlington, they typically pick it up like by the third Saturday in January. If you're farther south, your wreaths might turn brown a little sooner, and you want to get them up before they turn brown. The biggest thing we don't want, unsightly looking wreaths on grave. So just work with your cemetery and see what it is.
Okay. I usually have to leave mine up until April because the snow where I live, the snow is piled in front of the cemetery entrance and I can't get in there to open the gate to get the wreaths. But they hold up well in the snow.
Yeah,
So-
and that's fine as well. We have a lot of locations up north that do that. I actually, when I pulled my wreaths off here this year, I was kind of sad because they were still so green and pretty. I was like, well, this just seems a shame, but
Yeah, I had some.
it was February, so I felt like it was time.
Well, see, I just got mine off 2 weeks ago, but there's mostly look still pretty good.
Yep. Awesome.
So I have
Julie?
oh, go ahead.
Julie, this is Wendy Belmore. I'm in New Haven area. Could you please tell me a little bit about the mobile unit? And is that appropriate for children? If we were interested in that, who would we invite to that event if it were in the New England area and we were able to access a date?
Sure. I'm going to let Don jump in on this since I know he's on here now. I'm just going to let him talk about that because that's his thing.
Hi, Wendy. It's absolutely very much appropriate for children. Before COVID, we've had as many as 500 to almost 600 students through it at a time. That's not necessary now. We're at a school in the next couple of days, and we can get, using social distancing, we can probably get 8 or 10 groups of 10 students through there without any trouble if you wanted to go that direction. As I said, we will be in New England in July. We've got dates in Agawam, Mass, Billerica, and Rhode Island. So New Haven will be right up our alley. I just posted a link there on where you would request the mobile education exhibit. You can also find that on the webpage, Facebook, and go ahead and request it. Even if you don't have a date, there'll be a place for to put a date in there. Feel free just to put any date in July. Wording is fine. I'll give you a ring. We'll talk about how to try to make something happen. And as I've said before, don't get, well, kids maybe wouldn't be so much, but don't ask everybody, don't get worried about thinking you have to be out on a Saturday with a lot of foot traffic. We've done so well with the media. We've done so well with people bringing their kids and the people out during the week. It's a different, kind of a different animal right now, post or during the waning, hopefully, of COVID, that people are coming out and the media is coming out, and we can make something happen any day of the week.
I really appreciate hearing that from you. Thank you so much. I think I'm so excited. We're first timers, so we're excited about everything. So I have one other question. I have this lovely lapel pin, and I understand you sell lapel pins. If we thought we wanted to provide a lapel pin for all donors, are we able to get in on a better pricing unit for those? Because I saw the price for purchasing in bulks of 20.
So just reach out to your liaison in that manner, and they can work with our customer service people to see what we can get. With bulk pricing, I think some of the items, it is based off of how much you order. So if you ordered a larger amount, we could get a lower price.
Okay, so I'm very interested in that, as I said, because it's our first time. You know, we really want to thank people who we know are going to step up front and say, we want to be involved in this. So,
yep, absolutely. I think it's a great idea.
And
we
got
have some really nice new pins this year.
Show you my little lapel pin. Do you see it? How cute is that, right? How old is that? So, thank you.
We have some really nice new pins this year as well. We have a live up to their legacy pin. So we're going to try to do one collectible themed pin every year as well. And we also have our Wreaths Across America logo pin.
Oh, great. So so my liaison is Rachel. Thank you, Rachel.
So I had to jump on late because I was leading a call to somewhere else. So are these slides available? Will you post them somewhere?
Yeah, so it's actually recorded. We will have it on our YouTube channel that we have for volunteers. And then we will also send you a PDF of the slides within the next couple of days, as soon as the link is up and downloaded.
Okay. And regarding COVID type things, so in our area, we usually help people. I'm another CAP unit, so we usually help at the locations, and we've done that for several years, but we've never been a location coordinator. And is the website, so last year we had to, because of the restriction to 10, we have a stricter COVID requirement. So if that happens again, I was wondering if there's a way to find another location where we could be kind of in control of the location, because we couldn't participate because we couldn't guarantee the numbers, and as a CAP unit we can't, if the numbers weren't going to be we couldn't participate.
Sure.
The state of Virginia had a restriction for us.
Yes, they sure did. So there, you can always add on we're always adding new locations. So you could go in your community, if there's a smaller cemetery that is something that you and your squadron would kind of take on. You can always sign that up yourself and, do your own ceremony there.
Okay. So the website will tell me which the locations of cemeteries, since I don't know where all a lot of cemeteries are, but
On the
That will tell
website,
me
we have
location.
all of our participating locations, which are ones that are already registered, already have
Right.
plans in place. If you're looking for just cemeteries in general, the best place to go is like Google or just drive around. I mean, I live in North Carolina and I'm like driving sometimes and I'm like, oh, there's a cemetery in the middle of the woods. Let me stop and check it out. I mean,
So I was just wondering if you had a list of cemeteries that don't have location coordinators that would be considered a federal cemetery or with veterans and that sort of thing.
no, and I mean, unless it was like a state cemetery or a national cemetery, we don't have that list. And I think Virginia, for the most part, is pretty covered, but you can reach out to your liaison. And we do have a list of the state and national ones in Virginia that are participating, and ones that if they wouldn't be, we'd have them do.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question for you. I've tried to put pictures on our site, and I haven't had any success there over the past couple of years. I've tried it. Is there someone I could contact who could help out with that?
Yep, absolutely. So your regional liaison is going to be your best source for that. Adding photos on our current website is Rachel is my photo person. I struggle with it all myself. So I'm always like, Rachel, help me. So if you send the pictures to your liaison, they can help you either upload them or they're going to contact Rachel too. Cause I don't know, she's just got like the magic touch, but with the new website, that's going to work a lot better. So we're excited about that. But in the meantime, we can certainly help upload those for you.
Great, thank you.
Hi, I just have a question. This is my first year doing this, really. So I know you can send out the invitations from your page. And when the people receive those invitations, so you send out the emails from your page and they receive an email where they can purchase wreaths that's generated from the Wreaths Across America site.
Mhm.
Do we get credit for those? Is there a direct link to us that we get credit for those?
So the best way to do that is if you go into the messaging from your page and you're sending them out that way, it's going to have those links in there. If you're doing the invite from like your public facing page, it should direct link it. I would just always check it, like send one to yourself, check it, make sure everything's working correctly before you send this out. So that way it's coming back to the right place. You can also always, if you send them out yourself, or if you share it on Facebook, just share your direct link, which would be wreathsacrossamerica.org / and then your group ID. And that's always going to bring them directly to your page too.
Okay. Because I just think that's a great feature to be able to just send it out. But I just wanted to make sure we're going to get credit if we send it from our page.
Yeah. Like I said, I would just always test it. It works most of the time, but I just would recommend doing it to yourself first, making sure that checking that link, making sure it takes you to your direct group page, and then you'll know you're good to go.
Hey, Julie, this is Grody over in Grand Junction. Just
Hi.
a quick question. I heard you talk about a 10-year pin. What is that, if I could ask?
So we send out 10-year pins to all of our volunteer location coordinators who have been involved when they hit their 10 years. We go ahead and send that out. And didn't we send you one like last year?
No, I don't remember getting one. My wife and I have been at it for, this is the 14th year that we've done it here in Junction.
Yeah, I know you've been around as long as me.
Julie, it's more of an ornament, not a pin, if I remember correctly. So that might be just a little, hopefully, refresher for him.
No, I think the 10-year pin is actually like a lapel pin that we give to our coordinators. It's for 10 years. But get with Megan, because we can get another one sent out, because I know when I was looking this past year, I saw your name on the list. So it may just not have got sent out from previous years. So we'll get you one over to you. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check with her. I just thought I'd check since I was sitting here, and you're a lot better looking than I am. Trust me.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Okay, Megan Erickson is my regional coordinator or liaison. Is she the one that handles everything, even the accounting problems, or do I need to call the home office?
You would call Megan for everything. She will
Okay.
take care of everything for you. She might not have the answer to everything, but what she will do is she will go to the finance office or whoever it is on your behalf. That way you don't have to have numbers for all these different people. You go to Megan, she's going to get you taken care of.
Okay, I've done this for like 5 years, but this is the first year that I'm being responsible. And she'll be able to add another cemetery and all that other stuff.
Yep. Yep. She can
Okay.
do everything.
Okay, do everything through her.
No
That's
pressure,
good.
Megan. You got it all.
Okay, thank you.
Hey guys, this is Karen Worcester, and I don't know all of you. I know a lot of you. I'm actually the executive director, and I try to jump on these things, and I want to thank all the staff for all the hard work. I know they put a lot into this. I want to thank all of you because none of this happens without your volunteerism. And where you're asking the questions and stuff tonight, but we learn as much from you as you do from us. And we are always at headquarters, and I know the liaisons are always looking to hear your special stories that make this worth doing for you and what your reasons are. So don't be afraid to send information back this way and share stories, because those stories not only keep you going, but they keep us going as well. And so I just wanted to give everybody a thank you to be here on I think it's Tuesday. I'm not sure. I lost track a few hours ago, but thanks to everybody. It's really appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else got anything else before we hop off? All right, so I'm going to let you guys have 20 minutes of your night back. And like I said, if you have any questions, you need anything, and like Karen said, if you have any stories or, ideas, suggestions that you want to share, send those over to your liaisons, and, so we can share those on with other people as well.
Can I show my gnome that we are trying to raise more money for our cemetery? And we are on Facebook.
If you want to drop that link into the chat, that's probably the best way to go. And then people can go view that at their own leisure there. Cause it's kind of hard to show it. I know there's so many people on here. I can't find anyone on the screen. So
yeah. Okay.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening. Thanks, Julie.
Thank you for all you do.
Everybody have a Merry Christmas.
A video.
Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Julie.
thanks, Harry. Show us that shirt one more time, Harry.
Thank you, everyone.
Listen, this is the best $38.95 that I spent this week. Check.
Really, in fairness, I told him that your name needed to be just as big.
Yeah, thanks, Courtney.
Yeah.
Courtney,
Hey,
silent
Harry.
partner.
I
Silent
normally
partner.
am your silent partner.
Harry, if that doesn't say Renee and Karen on the back.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Just saying.
Renee, Karen, you get next month.
Yeah.
I will next month.
It's gonna rotate. All right.
Thank you, though. Seriously,
guys.
thank you
Have a
very
good
much.
evening.
Good
Bye.
evening.